Inflation is down on figures released this morning by the Office for National Statistics. 2.3% during the year to April, down from 3.2% in March, but that's still above the Bank of England's 2% target. Inflation is now back within the normal range, said Chancellor Jeremy Hunt. And the UK economy, he says, is turning the corner. Let's have a look at the details. Let's have a look at where inflation has come from. Back in October 2022, there it was, 11.1% inflation. That's a 50-year high. It's come all the way down, not in a straight line, but it's come down to 3.2% in March. And then we had the April figure today. And here it is. As I said, consumer prices were up 2.3% during the year to April. The lowest headline inflation rate, the consumer price index headline inflation rate since July 2021, down from 11% in October 22, as I said. The big question now, will interest rates be cut by the Bank of England on the 20th of June when the Monetary Policy Committee next meets? And we'll come to that in a moment. Why is inflation coming down? Well, food price inflation is easing. Back in March this year, food prices were 19.2% higher than in March 2022. In April this year, food prices were just under 3% higher than April last year. So food isn't getting cheaper, but the rate at which food prices are increasing has eased very, very significantly. Let's have a look at motor fuels, petrol and diesel. Petrol prices and diesel prices are up in recent months, but in some cases, they're lower than they were this time last year. So petrol was up 3.3p a litre over the last month, and it is actually up 1.5% on April 2023. Diesel is slightly different. Diesel prices also up over the last month from March to April, 3p per litre, but they're slightly lower, 3.2% lower than in April 2023. So overall, motor fuel prices have not really contributed much to this drop in inflation. That's not true for utility prices, gas and electricity. They are sharply down over the last year, 37.5% down since April 2023. Electricity prices 21% down. That's on wholesale markets. Plus the Ofgem energy price cap has lowered, which is putting a lid on households' utility bills and not before time. This is a big reason, lower utility bills, why headline inflation has actually fallen. What does all this mean for interest rates? Here's the history of interest rates from 2017, ultra low, rising steadily, then suddenly lockdown came and interest rates were nailed to the floor. Since then, we've had 13 interest rate rises and interest rates have been at 5.25% since August last year. I have to say, I can't see the Bank of England lowering interest rates in June when it next meets. They're going to stay at a 16-year high, in my view. There's no Monetary Policy Committee meeting in July, so the earliest at which interest rates could come down, again, this is my surmise, is in August. Overall, UK inflation's relatively low now compared to many other countries. We're at 2.3, the US is at 3.4, the Eurozone is at 2.4, and the government will certainly crow about that. But there is a blot on the landscape. There are geopolitical dangers. We know that oil prices have been going up. Oil averaged $74 a barrel in May 2023. The current price is $84 a barrel. That's 14% more expensive. That is still feeding into inflation. And who knows, with turmoil in the Middle East and still in Ukraine, geopolitical risks mean that those oil prices could spike. And if they do, inflation will go up once again. But it is true to say inflation is down. It's also true to say it's not as much as expected. The last few years have been difficult, says Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, but our long-term prospects are better than any other major European economy. That's what the IMF is saying for now. But the question for the Tories is, do voters feel better off? Will that help them at the general election whenever it comes?